Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax. Except you, that person driving. Sit up and keep your eyes on the road. Your ears, though, can still listen as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
I'm me, Rob. Let's talk about the tight ends.
Oh, the tight end. And the D line. Ooh, tight end and D.
It's like Saturday night.
I won't ask what club you're going to.
Yeah.
So
it's not far.
We thought today would be a nice, simple, casual conversation about the NFL draft. Get, one more group going and done before, the whole chaos that we're about to go through the next couple of days here happens. And then lo and behold, this afternoon, the floodgates open up and all these big moves start coming down. What I mean, all I mean two, but still, it's a lot to talk about. We already have two groups to talk about tonight, guys. So one, obviously a Giants move, one a Jet move. So both New York area teams, they're pretty active here today. So before we get started with all the news here, guys, we got to remind everybody, of course, that we are, of course, sponsored and presented by Manscaped. Oh, yes, as we have the Lawnmower 4.0 package again, as you see the We Say Balls ad behind me here. So, yes.
The Lawnmower sack to go with it.
Oh, yes. It's the Satkula.
Yeah.
As we decided. We coined that, by the way. So if Manscaped starts using that, we deserve some commission for that. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I mean,
under the light.
Again, guys, summer is coming. What happens with summer? Heat. What happens with heat? You sweat in areas you don't usually sweat in the wintertime. Just saying, guys. Lawnmower 4.0. You got the flashlight to get the hard to reach, hard to see areas there. If you catch my drift, you get the skin protector shields. So you don't get the nicks and the cuts and have them put band-aids in awkward spots because that's just weird, guys. Especially if you have like superheroes on it.
And when you use your crop reviver once you're done shaving, you don't get the stinging marks.
Oh yes, no stinging. Yeah, just stinging.
Not like Kevin from Home Alone after he shaves his face.
Let's not add children to that. All right, guys. Of course, Manscaped has offered the discount there for our listeners here and our watchers, depending on which avenue you guys are on. Again, it's Two Giant Goofballs being sponsored by Manscaped. You go on to manscaped.com and enter the promo code Goofballs, and you get 20% off your order, plus you get free shipping. So hard to beat that. I love a good deal.
Your goofballs would be refreshed.
And your balls will thank you. Oh, yes. See, we did that on unison still. We got a couple comments here from Freddie Henderson. Hey, Freddie, what's up, man? What's up, gentleman? He says, I'm a Giants fan as well. Join the fun, man. Join the fun.
To the goofballs.
Oh, yeah. So guys, like I said, we got some Giants news here to start off with. So, of course, as always, what do? It's Giants news time.
It's time for the news.
Oh yeah, it's like a song waiting to happen. We need like a little like Ed Sheeran in the background or something. Get that thing going.
I'm sure that's a beat from the 80s.
So we told you guys, I guess almost a month ago, it feels like now, that A'Shawn Robinson, the defensive tackle, the former Lion, the former Ram, had visited with the New York Giants, and there kept on being rumors that everything went well, that they think they can get something done down the line. Well, guess what? Those rumors are now substantiated. So he's now officially a New York Giant, signing a 1-year, $4 million deal. Could be up to $8 million with incentives. Good player overall. I'm telling you, this went from a weakness to a strength in one offseason. We talked about how we had the two-headed duo, obviously, with Sexy Dexy and Leonard Williams to start and, be just amazing players. But behind them, we had just a hodgepodge of veteran min deals basically for the last couple of years. Now we get Nacho earlier on in the season, which is just, Nacho is first off a cool name. But
yeah,
he's a good player. He's a good run stopper. Does provide some of the pass protection where he can as well. I'm sorry, the pass rush as well where he can. And now we go ahead and get another guy of this similar mold, and A'Shawn Robinson, who is, first off, if you watch that Rams Super Bowl, he was pretty active in that game there. So he shows up when it counts. He's got a lot of run-stopping ability. What we have trouble last year, folks, with?
Oh, we got smoked in the run game.
Smoked. Listen, we got smoked more than anything in Snoop Dogg's house, okay? I'm just saying, like, it was bad. Like, you didn't have to be a good running back to run on us last year. And now we have a run-stopping linebacker in Okereke. We have good depth at the defensive line. This is now a strength. Here's the one concern I do have with him, though. He's got some injuries. So I know it's like the Giants are like, "Are you talented? Are you injured?"
Let me tell you, injury history.
Giants.
We got a giant list of injury history.
Oh yes. So yeah, tore meniscus last season, cut his season short. He's only played in every single game in 3 out of the 7 seasons he's been in the league. He's only played though in less than 13 in 2 of them. So the big thing is that he gets injured often, but it's not always big injuries. It's more the, hey, count on this guy being out for a couple games a season kind of thing. As Connor chimes in, hey, Connor, what's up? He says, matching shirts again, LOL. Maybe you guys can get 2 necklaces with hairy nuts pendants from Manscaped. I'm not sure they have those, Connor. If you want to call them up and ask them if they have them, they might question.
I want to get the big golden nutsack.
That'd be fun.
It'll look like Flavor Flav.
Flavor Flav, boy. As long as I'm not Brigitte Nielsen, that's all that matters, okay? I peeked at that Sonia. But yes, like I said, good signing overall. Another good depth piece. Another guy who's going to be, someone to protect us if one of these guys gets injured, or if he does well. I'm saying it right now, guys. I haven't seen a single bit of news with Leonard Williams or Adoree Jackson on extension talk. What does that tell you?
The talks might not be going on.
Which means it's probably their last ride with the Giants. Someone's going to have to replace Leonard Williams next year, that means. Maybe it's Robinson. Maybe it's Nacho. Maybe it's somebody who's not on the team yet. We'll find out. But we're going to talk the defensive line here in a little bit here on this draft. So it's almost like we planned that, as I mentioned, like that. Ooh, almost like I wanted to segue, but not quite yet. We have more news. Oh, yes. Happy draft anniversary to Eli Manning. I'm coining that term, by the way. It's going right.
Draft anniversary.
Draft anniversary. 19 years ago today, Eli Manning stomped all over the heart of San Diego Chargers fans, much like the city of Los Angeles did years later. It is what it is, man. But yeah, Eli Manning, of course, we all know the story. I don't have to go for the whole thing about Eli to the Chargers, to the Giants, and the whole history, 2 Super Bowls later, and yeah, suck at Chargers fans. We also had some weird news today out of Rich Eisen. Said Kate Mara, who, for those who are unaware who she is, you might recognize the last name, John Mara, the owner's daughter, who is pretty well-known actress, I would say, as well. She's been in a lot of things. Look her up. You're one of those actresses, you probably know the face, not the names, so to speak. And yeah, she said she told Rich, the Giants may do something crazy on draft day, but they also may not. Yeah, that's basically summed up in the NFL. But it's weird that why would you say that unless there's something specific that you were thinking and have in mind? And I don't know what that is. So I didn't want to speculate on what it could be, because if it's something crazy, let's be honest, if we start speculating, the goofballs are probably the ones who will figure it out because we are crazy. But it makes it that much more difficult to figure out because it is crazy. So, like I said, we're not even going to guess on that, except for I will give this one guess, which is our next topic. Bleacher Report suggesting the Giants trade Aaron Robinson, the cornerback, and pick number 89, which is a 3rd round pick, for DeAndre Hopkins. And that name just keeps on popping up. I always say, where there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, it's enough times now that I'm wondering, are people just connecting dots because we don't have a number 1 receiver? And it's a good market for Hopkins to go to because it's a big market? Or he's saying, okay, big market gets us more clicks. Let's just pick the Giants randomly as the person who supposedly wants Hopkins. I don't know. It's just weird. It's weird.
I don't know. The only thing that makes me like very questionable with that is just how are you going to restructure the cap? How are you going to make that work?
There's one very easy way to do it. I'm not, listen, before I even say it, I am not suggesting this move. I can see pros, I can see cons. Cutting Leonard Williams. You got the money right there. You just signed another defensive tackle.
Yeah, but then how much dead cap do we have?
We have enough. So we have enough at that point to go ahead and and sign him. I'm pretty sure we can afford the contract. Keep in mind, we're just paying the annual fee. We're not paying the signing bonus because he's traded.
Yeah.
I'd have to look it up now. But like I said, I'm pretty sure that would get us there. If not, it's get us pretty damn close. He's got a lot of money we'll be saving by doing that. So, but like I said, we'll see. It's just weird that it keeps on happening. In draft rumors, the Giants are supposed to be rumored to be interested in wide receiver Tyler Scott of Cincinnati, which I'm a bit confused on why, to be very frank with you. It's a mid-round receiver. I don't see anything fancy on the tape. We talked about him. He's not a bad pickup, but to me, he's not a number one. We have enough number 2s and 3s at this point.
I mean, are they pulling a Thibodeau again?
Listen, you never know. That's a good point because, I mean, New York media thought there was no way in hell they want Thibodeau, and then look what happened. Thibodeau. So we shall see. All righty, guys. We do have a little bit of NFL news to give you here. It's actually a very Jets-oriented bit of NFL news here. So let's go.
The other side of my life.
Oh, yes. As Aaron Rodgers explodes onto the scene for the Jets here. Finally, after like how many months of this talks? I know it's only like 2 or 3, but it feels like 7 or 8. And it's absolutely
when there's no football on and you hear it every day, it feels like months and months.
Exactly. The trade has finally happened. So thank God we can stop talking about the trade. Will it happen? Will it not happen? It's officially happened. So the Jets get Aaron Rodgers, obviously, and they get the number 15 overall pick, which you probably on paper go, wait a minute, hold on. The Jets got a first-round pick. That's because they sent their first-round pick this year. So the Packers move up 2 spots from 15 to 13. Somebody probably just included that to make the trade look a little better, basically. That's such a minor thing.
Yeah.
No, the Packers got number 42 this draft, number 207. And if Aaron Rodgers plays in 65% or more of the snaps this season, they'll get the second next year from the Jets as well. And the Jets were very, very busy because they also re-signed center Connor McGovern today as well. So they're very busy bees there on the other side of MetLife. They're busy bees. So the question now comes into be is who's the better quarterback in New York? Is it DJ? Is it Rodgers? Is it Zach Wilson? No, it's not Zach Wilson.
Matt White.
There's so many questions. I mean, has Zach Wilson even called Aaron Rodgers' mom yet for a play date? I'm just saying, there's all these questions.
He's going to.
I did look it up, by the way. This is the time I had while we're setting up here. I looked it up, and yes, his mother is 65 years old, by the way. So if anybody's wondering if this is another possible MILF situation, like with Zach Wilson's mom's friend, I think she's past his age limit. I think, she's more of a gilf at this point. I mean, I think she's past his age where I think Aaron's okay. But remember, Zach Wilson said, whoever they bring in veteran-wise, I'm going to make his life living hell every day. Good luck. Have you seen how Aaron Rodgers lives? I mean, the man was like the Wish version of Nicolas Cage in Con Air when he went to camp last year. I'm just saying, there's nothing you could do to hurt this man except for having talked to the New York media. I still say that's going to be fun, and it's going to bring back memories when Randy Johnson went to the Yankees back in the 90s. He's not going to deal well with it. I'm sorry. I know Jets fans are already saying that's BS because they're hearing it from everybody. It's going to happen.
I see that being a problem.
Who do you got? Who you got, DJ or Rodgers?
DJ all the way. I'm a goofball.
There we go. I got to say, I'm agreeing with you because I think Aaron Rodgers actually took a step back and now he's got learn a whole new team. He knows the offense already. He's familiar with Hackett, obviously. He's an old OC in Green Bay. He's got to learn a lot of new players now. And he doesn't deal well with that at all. We learned that last year. So I think this is going to blow up in the Jets' faces. I don't hope for that. Let me be very clear, though. I'm not a Jet hater. I don't hope for horribleness for them. I hope for just less than the Giants. But
fair enough.
it's going to blow up, I think, really. You got a guy who's like 39, 40 years old. I mean,
yeah, he's pushing 40.
He's going to fall off the cliff. It's going to happen.
You know, he's definitely going to have to show up to the volunteer practices if he wants to get structure going with these guys, because
he'll be busy in a cave.
Yeah, doing some coat or doing whatever, some mushrooms.
Let's see here. Connor says, did you see Peter Schrader's mock draft? He's picking Z Flowers, wide receiver. And John Anderson Jr. will be happy about this. Saints at number 29 picking wide receiver Jonathan Mingo as a wide receiver. Maybe Giants pick him instead. I don't see that happening. I think he might move up to the second round because you're seeing a lot of the other wide receivers kind of dropping. But that also might cause him to drop at the same point either. He'll probably still go second to fourth, maybe around there. Let's see here. We got Anthony, Big Blue Ant Seals. What's up, Anthony? Rodgers is on his way out, and if he decides to end it after next season, the Jets are screwed. I love it. NYG for life. Yeah. Like I said, I think this, again, I don't want it to explode in their face. I feel bad for Jets fans. Those are real fans, guys. Let's be honest. We get upset because we haven't won a ring in 10 years. They haven't won one since 1969. The last time they won a Super Bowl,
Ric Flair was around.
Yeah, the last time they won a Super Bowl, Joe Namath was doing commercials for stockings on TV. I'm just saying, that's how long ago it was, okay? Now he's doing AARP. This is how long ago it was. So, like I said, real fans, Jets fans, if any Jet fans are listening and we don't hate, we hope the best for you. We just don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, I mean,
especially in the AFC. If you went to the NFC, different. You're in the NFC, you guys are Super Bowl contenders. AFC, you're all going to make out of the first round of the playoffs. Partially where you play. Speaking of
Miami's going to be tough to beat. I mean, he's got the Pats numbers. Well, actually, no. Bill Belichick has his number more.
Yeah, you got the Bills. I mean, the Jets could be the third best team in the division. Still.
It'd still be a good team.
Yeah. It's crazy. Speaking of old quarterbacks and quarterbacks that don't age, the AI version of Tom Brady is out in his new hour-long stand-up special. Obviously, it's not actual Tom Brady. It's an AI version of a stand-up thing. And if you listen to it, you can obviously tell it's an AI doing stand-up because he just pauses weirdly and says weird things. That being said, Aaron Rodgers is thinking about suing the guys who did it because let's just say
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. Sorry, look at the comments that were put up in a second. Tom Brady's talking about suing because it's very, very raunchy. Very there's
comedy.
Yeah, there's talks of self-fellatio and all kinds of things in there. It's all kinds of things that not exactly his PG image he likes to keep. So I'll have to keep an eye on that one because it's not only for him, it's for everybody. I mean, this AI stuff is going crazy, man.
It is, but who do you sue when it comes to AI? You're going to sue
the guy who created the AI special. He's the one who posted. He's the one who gave it what to say. Keep in mind, when you use AI, you still have to give it something. You can't just say, "Hey, AI, do something at random."
I mean,
you had to put in there, do a dirty comedy special with Tom Brady doing it. Mention things relevant to his life. You have to put these kind of codes in. I use ChatGPT occasionally for stuff for us even. You have to put things in. It doesn't just spew it out. It just spews it out better than I can write because I have, a Hazlet, New Jersey education system. Could be worse. I'm in Florida now. But yeah, like I said, it'd be interesting to see what happens. Rumors this weekend, flying with the Eagles supposedly being this close to trading for Derrick Henry. And I still think I wasn't that worried about it. I posted on our Facebook page and a couple people thought I was crazy for it. I don't think it's that big a deal. You want Derrick Henry? Go get Derrick Henry. That means you're not getting Bijan Robinson. I would take Robinson over Henry at this point. If the Titans want to let him go, they think he lost a step.
Yes, especially since they built that offense around him.
Well, they're changing the whole offense. That's part of it, I think, too. But, I mean, like I said, if they want to let him go, that tells you something, guys. He's an older running back with a ton of miles on him at this point. Yeah. Take him. Take
And
him.
not even like good highway miles, like rough city.
Yeah, this wasn't going to church in the grocery store. This is going back and forth over the Brooklyn Bridge 50 times a day. But
driving to San Francisco.
well, for his bowl of rice-a-roni.
Yeah.
But I mean, the big thing is that, don't get me wrong, Derrick Henry still has stuff in the tank, but he's got another year or two, and that's it probably.
But he's also not the Derrick Henry that it was.
Oh, he still had 1,400 yards the last season. He's still a beast.
Yeah, he was just like sneaky good.
Yeah, he didn't have the massive games that often, at least that you saw in prime time. It was more like the 80, 90 yards every single week kind of thing. Which, keep in mind now, if you put him in a team with the best offensive line in football, I hate to say it, that's what the Eagles have right now. That extends him. But like I said, again, yeah, take the old running back. Don't get the new young one. Who wants a new young one? All right, let's see. We got a couple of more comments here, and then we'll get into the draft talk here. Connor says, why would they sign Rodgers if he doesn't guarantee 2 years? Waste of time. Brett Favre did that. Hope Aaron doesn't do that too. Be cool, Jets versus Giants Super Bowl. Listen, I would love a Jets versus Giants
cool.
Super Bowl.
It'd be great for our media.
I don't think either one of us is getting there, but I would definitely take it. I mean, I think what it boils down to is they're in a win now mode, and they think he gives them the best chance to win. The team is set up minus a quarterback. You know, watch them go out and get a quarterback like a Hendon Hooker or something like that needs to sit for a year or two. Or, you know, one of the guys we talked about in the last episode, the kid from BYU that can sit back for a year or two and learn from, granted, one of the biggest jerks in the NFL, but still one of the best quarterbacks of his generations. Anthony says Aaron Rodgers has a foot in the door anyway. He's already doing State Farm life insurance commercials. LOL. Yeah, he's discount double check. All righty, guys. Let's get into the draft talk here because we got 2 groups to go. This is the final 2 groups here. It's the final groups now. Everybody in my house probably like, what are they doing on this show?
Yeah. Rocky IV style. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. All righty, guys. So we're going to start off with tight ends, or are we going to start off with defensive line? Rob, as always, you make the call.
Oh, I want to talk about them tight ends.
Oh, tight end. Oh, yeah. Let's talk some tight ends.
In there.
Would you care to do the honors and go first?
Sure.
Oh.
We got Davis Allen out of Clemson.
Number 10.
Number 10.
Numero 10.
6'6", 245 pounds. Dude's a brick.
House
with that 6'6" frame. He's got great radius to catch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's first time in the line or in the slot.
Go gadget arms.
Yeah. Just seen the game where you got the helicopter out.
Oh, if he had that, he'd be like the best red zone threat ever. Could you imagine? Just throw it up like
start coming down. That being said, with that length, he's not that shifty. He lacks some speed, but his run blocking has some issues as well. He can work on that.
Yeah,
this kind of guy, he can make a difference on your offense if you use him right.
That's the key, because everybody thinks that Clemson didn't use him right, which is a theme for a lot of Clemson guys. So we're going to talk about another Clemson guy later tonight that had the same mantra, basically. I mean, again, developmental guy, you just see what you got out of him. I think a round 5 kind of pick. What do you think?
Yeah, probably about 5th round.
All righty. Number 9, Brent Strange, the Penn State Nittany Lion. First off, what's a Nittany Lion? Like, what is that?
He's like a little nimble.
Is that like a different than a mountain lion, or I don't know? Like, was he in the Lion King at all? Like,
Simba.
Can he just not wait to be king? I don't know. Anyway, 6'3", 250 pounds. The guy's a yak beast. Which I'm sorry, that's a special skill when you're a tight end.
Was he a lion or is he a yak?
Yakety yak.
Don't know, bro.
But it's important skill as a tight end because a lot of times you're taking shorter routes. If you can take a 5-yard route and turn it to 15, hey, guess what, guys? You'll have a long career. That's a long career you'll have there. Very strong hands, good in contested catches. Has the size to play in line, which is key. Because some of the guys we're going to talk about in this group, really, to be honest, they're just big old slot receivers.
Pretty much.
You don't want him blocking. He does need to improve his blocking, though. So I don't want to make it seem like he's a good blocker, but he's shown the willingness to block. I think he just needs some coaching and see if he can improve that a little better. He also needs to get better as far as route running. Needs also to improve as far as figuring out a way to get separation man coverage. That was kind of the blueprint to trying to stop him this past season here. I would say probably, again, another developmental guy, round 4, round 5 kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm going to say like another round 5 guy. Very similar statues to these guys. So
They're statues?
They're statues.
You cannot field a team with statues. They have to move.
Oh, shoot.
God damn. No one can get around this blocker. He seems like he's a statue.
It's built like a brick shit house.
Number 8.
Luke Shoemaker. I said shoemaker, didn't I? Shoemaker.
Shoemaker. I'm not sure what a shoon is, but he's making it.
Oh, he is definitely making it. Michigan. 6'5", 251 pounds. He is a willing blocker.
He's a Wolverine.
Oh, he is a Wolverine. But yeah, his best trait is the blocking in the run game.
Yep.
So
need that extra lineman kind of tight end. This is your guy.
Yeah, super competitive. He gets out there, gets some emotional when he's playing. Underwhelming with production though in college. We're going to talk about it in some of his actually passing game, and complete opposite. There's no yak in this guy, and there's like hardly any contested catches if there's none from last year. But he is a vertical seam threat.
Yeah.
So I can see him going in like the 4th round, give or take, maybe dropping to the 5th.
I mean, the big thing with him is if you watch a lot of the tape on him, first off, beast in the run block. He is probably the best run blocking tight end in this entire draft. But what he does basically is he lacks a lot in the passing game. What you'll see basically every so often he'll break off a block, just run straight down the field, and if he's wide open, they would throw it to him. If they weren't, it's like he's not even there. So, yeah, another guy, developmental. I think he'll probably be nothing better than a backup in this league. But because he's a good run blocker, he will have a place in this league. He will find a place in this, even if he's a third tight end. To put in big sets like that and goal lines and stuff like that, he will find a place in this league. No doubt about it. But that's not a skill you go and pay dearly for and draft him early. So 4 or 5 again. He's definitely not Travis Kelce. Yeah. He's not even Jason Kelce.
No.
All righty. Number 7, Jack Coots from Old Dominion, the most athletic tight end in the history of the NFL Combine.
Well, hello, Mr. Fancy Pants.
Yes, like literally, when you look at the ratings and you see it says like 8 point something, 9 point something, that's them verifying how well they stack up against the past tight ends or whatever position you're talking about that time, who have gone against, gone and done these same measurements and drills in the combine. He literally rated better than anybody who's ever been to the combine at the tight end position. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So matchup nightmare, 4.45 40 speed. That's pretty dang fast. That's impressive. That's like a wide receiver.
I was about to say, especially
type of, yeah, I mean, so size-wise, 6'8", 251 pounds, guys.
Dude's a monster.
That's unheard of. And he's only 23 years old, so it's not like he's the guy who's like 26 years old and he's had the extra year or 2 to grow. I don't know. You don't really grow at that age anyway, but
no.
I didn't stop till I was like 23. But yeah, I mean, it's insane. Look at that. Here's the issues with him though. He hates contact. You just like touch him, he's done. He wants nothing to do with it. I've seen end zones like scenarios even where like he just like runs into the guy and then doesn't try to break away or push away or anything. Like there's no heart like that even from him. And I hate to use that kind of term, but I'm sorry. If you're just sitting there with the guy around you and you're not even trying to get free of him, you're not trying.
No.
You're not
Especially
trying.
if he's really built like a moose.
Yeah. he doesn't use his size at all correctly, and he's also a really bad blocker. I do think, though, purely because of the potential, he's going to be like a 3-4 kind of guy, round 3, round 4 kind of guy. But this is as boom or bust as they get. I can see this guy developing into a starter in this league. I can see him developing into a fry cook at your local Wendy's. Like either one, I could see. Like seriously, like he's that guy. Like,
well,
he's
yeah,
got that high ceiling, he's got that high floor, and he's everywhere in between. I don't. No one knows what to think of him. The most athletic guy ever to set foot in Indy at the position, and he went to Old Dominion.
But
not like he was facing top quality.
And you're also going to be, tight end's not the position to play if you're afraid of getting hit.
No, it kind of goes with the territory. I mean, if that's the case, be the biggest freaking goddamn slot receiver there ever was in the league.
Right.
But even then, you're going to get contact.
Yeah.
Even at the outside, you're going to get contact. So, it is what it is. Like I said, it's going to take the right coach that can get through to him. And it's also to take him owning up to his issues and growing as a player. It's going to be a combination of both for him to succeed. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All righty. Number 6.
All right. Luke Musgrave from Oregon State.
If that's not like a redneck kind of last name, Musgrave. It sounds like one of those things you put on when you're trying to like not scare away the animals when you're hunting.
Or like
oh, hold on. We're downwind. Did you put the Musgrave on?
Yeah. Oh, you smell like deer urine again.
That's
Musgrave.
Deer urine. I saw one of those actually. You ever see that? That wife swap show they used to have in ABC back in the day. So
Yes.
I watched an episode of that, and one of the families, literally, that's what they did is the husband and the wife just allowed him to do it. The husband decided one day they were going to buy a big property, get a whole bunch of deer, and bottle deer piss and sell it as a small business. I'm like, oh my God. If that's not grounds for divorce, I don't know what is. Anyway.
Well, all right then. On that note, Luke 6'6", 250 pounds.
It doesn't smell like deer urine, to be clear.
Doesn't smell like deer urine.
It does
Could
not.
Smell like urine. I don't know for sure.
I don't think he does. I think that'd be on the draft profiles.
Oh, it might be. You're right.
Might help him get separation, though, and make coverage.
Could, right? 3 pounds instead of a...
Give some to that kid in Old Dominion.
He's got pretty good size. Obviously, 250. That's a big boy. Also athletic. Not as athletic as the last guy from Old Dominion.
No one was.
Yeah, obviously no one was. But still very athletic. He was also a key target in the red zone. He was very good in the red zone. He only had 13 starts this past season, which is
that's his whole career.
Yeah, which is something to be said about a guy that's about to be drafted into the NFL. He does have trouble in separation. He's willing to block, but he's also not very physical when he's blocking.
Yeah. But here's the thing. It's almost like, like when you get the dog, and it's going to be a bad analogy, but I'm going with it anyway.
Geez.
I'm going with it anyway. When you get a dog and you're trying to house break the dog, and the dog goes to the door that they're supposed to go out and they just pee right there. It's like they get the idea of it, but they haven't quite mastered the technique.
It's all that musk.
That's what it is. It's been too much urine talk for this guy. I feel bad. I need to write him a formal apology. But the fact that he only has 13 starts is why you kind of look at that and go, okay, he's still learning. And he doesn't come from as small a school as Old Dominion, but he also comes from a smaller school still in Oregon State. We talked a lot about them in the secondary this year, but we haven't really talked much beyond that with them. These are all things you can teach. What you can't teach is size. You can't teach athleticism. You can't teach a willingness to win in the red zone. So I think he's got a decent ceiling where, I think he's going to be, at worst, a decent backup tight end in this league. And I think at best case scenario, if he gets his stuff together and learns from a good teacher, that he can end up being a starter in this league. I wouldn't guarantee that, but I would say he's got the potential to start in this league after developing for a year or two, and if he reaches that ceiling.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
yeah,
That
like I
being
said,
said,
the third round guy.
I was gonna say I would be surprised if he goes in the third round, but I see him in the fourth round just because there's going to be teams that are going to be afraid of that 13 starts.
See, I think right around that third, you're going to start seeing a run on tight ends. I really do, and part of it's going to be because of the fact that there's no receivers.
This is true.
Not high quality receivers, at least. So they're going to hope they strike some goal with the tight end. That's going to happen, I think. We'll see if I'm right. Number 5, Tucker Kraft. I know this is not Tucker Carlson. Okay, I know he left Fox, but he's not going to South Dakota Fox. He's not, this is not the same Tucker. 6'5", 255 pounds. Good size. Gets open. Good receiver. Inconsistent blocker. Gets overpowered by strong blockers. Obviously came from South Dakota State, so a very small school as well. So he'll be probably a round 3 guy as well. But if you use him, this is one of those guys we talked about. That some of these guys aren't really blockers; they're more big old slot receivers. This guy's a big old slot.
What'd you call him?
A slot.
Oh, the dirty slot.
Yes. So, again, can you coach him to be a better blocker? That's between the coaching staff and him, and they got to get the feeling as far as that part. But worst comes to worst, he's got the ability as a good receiver that sometimes you overlook that stuff. We got Darren Waller, obviously, this offseason. He's not exactly lighting it up as a blocker.
No.
But when you 1,000-yard receiver as as a tight end, you ignore these things. Not to say that Tucker's going to do that, but he's going to go ahead and provide enough in the passing game that you'll probably ignore some of the deficiencies he has in the blocking game.
I agree with that. Yeah. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking round 3 again. Like I said, I think there's going to be a runner like round 3 on these tight ends. I really do. I think you're going to get a run on receivers in round 2. And then all of a sudden, people are like, oh my God, there's no more talent here. Tight end, quickly.
I see him going to round 3.
Yeah,
mid-late round 3.
Number 4.
San La Porta.
La Porta
from Iowa. 6'4", 204.
Sounds like a wine. Sounds like a wine.
It does.
Are you thirsty? Wine. Have you tried a bottle of La Porta?
It is fresh and delicious.
It's
very robust at 249 pounds.
That is very robust.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't say that for a tight end, robust, but for a bottle of wine, it's very robust.
Yeah. He's a deep threat tight end, which is good. It's not C. But that being said, Iowa's offense was also pretty bad.
Yeah. And I think that's part of why people overlook his numbers. His numbers weren't great, but you look at it and go, okay, he was stuck in a pile of poop. He was stuck in a pile of poop.
You can understand why. He's willing to be a blocker, but he's also not good. It's kind of like a theme of this draft class.
You know what? People don't realize often, too, like the tight ends are used different in college than they are in the NFL. There's not many guys who come out and you go, that's a blocker. That's a good blocker.
Yeah.
So, that's to be taught. Because blocking and the use is totally different. It was funny how the NFLs are going more to the NFL teams are going much more like the college style now. Where you see these receiving tight ends that don't block.
Yeah, I mean, also depends on how the offense is set up too. Like
100%.
So I see like especially Giants is coming up here doing a lot of 2-3 tight end setups.
Yeah. Oh, it would definitely with Bellinger and Waller both.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Laporta is one of those guys that if you draft him, you're drafting him with the thought process of I like what I see, and I'm blaming the rest of it on the other people around him.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's basically what you're doing.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. He wasn't going to get strong players, so he's another working project. His routes were okay, but he also could get bumped off his routes. Like, when he's getting little protection, the bump and grind, he didn't back up. But yeah, this is another guy I see going in the third round.
I think second or third. I think he's going to be one of the higher up ones because people see the potential because they like the tape. They just don't like where he was.
That's where I kind of beg to differ a little bit, just because it's like they might be afraid to see what his ceiling is.
It's like trying to get a suntan in Saskatchewan. It's not going to work out very well.
Yeah.
I don't know why I picked Saskatchewan, except I like the name Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan. Alrighty. Number 3. Now, I'm going to say this. People are going to disagree with us in this one, I think. And I think we might get some poop for it, to put it nicely. But I'm going to go with it because it's what I see. Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. 6'4", 242 pounds. Former basketball player in high school, never even really played football until his senior year of high school. He plays much more like a slot receiver than an actual tight end. Shifty, gets contested catches. Small, though, for a tight end. We talked about 242. I mean, that's good 15, 20 pounds lighter than most tight ends are, really. Barely any inline blocking tape to even watch. And like I said, he only did 1 year in high school. So he really hasn't done any blocking as an actual tight end ever, basically. And that's why I don't want to put him any higher. He's got potential because you can see he can catch the ball. He's going to be a good receiving tight end. There's no doubt on that. But I look at him as the quintessential big slot receiver over being an actual tight end because that's the role he's played. Now, can he do better? I don't know. I haven't seen it. I haven't gone to the pro days. I haven't had the chance to sit down and actually meet with the guy and, run him through some drills. Hopefully any team that's interested in him, if they want him to block, had that opportunity and took full advantage of it. But until I see you block, I can't list you as like a top tight end. I'm shocked I even have him at 3, to be honest, because it's part of the game.
It is part of the game, but he's like, once again, if he could be that 1,000-yard, receiving tight end, it's something you kind of.
I still would just call him a big old slot.
Big old slot.
Big old slot. That's what he is. So, like I said, I do think someone will pick him up round 2, though. I think it'll be towards the tail end of round 2, but I think someone will get him round 2.
I wouldn't be surprised. Just because, I mean, a lot of really good tight ends have started off playing basketball. It means they have good hands, they're fast, they're tall.
Yeah, Antonio Gates.
Antonio Gates.
I think Tony Gonzalez the same way, too. I think he played basketball at Kent State, too.
Yeah, Jimmy Graham.
Right? Oh, yeah, Kent State was Antonio Gates. But yeah, Jimmy Graham, basketball player. Yeah, a lot of them do that. It's very similar skill set. You're going up for the ball when you rebound. You're going up for the ball when you want to receive it.
Yeah, every time you pass
same
the ball,
muscles,
guess what?
motions.
You got to catch.
Yep.
It's just a little different shape.
Exactly. And by a little bit, you mean a lot of different.
Yeah, a lot different.
Number 2.
Two.
Dos.
Darnell Washington, Georgia.
Georgia.
We need to start reading them like when an NFL and they're like, here's your offensive line today. Darrell Washington, Georgia.
Do like a boxing style if you want. I can do that next time if you want.
Oh, there we go.
That'd be kind of fun. Well, I like how we think of these ideas on the last day we're doing the rankings for the draft.
Right.
We really got
we also
our
don't
stuff
get sued
together.
by Bruce Buffer.
Listen, as long as we don't say anything about getting ready or rumbling, we're good.
There we go.
Yes.
All right. Washington, 6'7", 265 pounds.
That's a big boy.
Yeah.
That's a big boy.
He ate his Wheaties, all right.
Whew. Like that's a lot of working out. That's a lot of eating. That's a lot of everything. Like
That's a lot of retaining. That's a big boy.
He's bigger than some of the offensive linemen we talked about.
Yeah. What was the guy? What was the Notre Dame we were talking about? 242.
Yeah.
At 6'4".
Yeah, like he's big. He got longer arms than a lot of linemen even have. Like, whew.
Yeah, and he's versatile, like in the line or in the slot. He's a great blocker. He better be with that size.
Yeah.
He can block in space.
Yeah.
Like
I've seen him be the
space.
lead blocker with the running back, even like on film, like, and he did it with ease.
Yeah, I mean, once again, with that size.
Yeah, but when you have that size, you lose that speed to be a lead blocker. That's what's impressive about it.
Yeah.
Think about it. Most fullbacks are not 6'7", 265.
No.
Most fullbacks are non-existent nowadays, but still.
I was about to say, they're pretty much like
What's a
The way the dinosaur.
Full back? Is that when your backpack has no room?
Yeah, you got to take some stuff out of it, take a sip of water.
Oh,
He's also a red zone threat. He was utilized in the red zone. He also needs to work on some of his movement. He's not fluid.
Honestly, I don't think it's going to be a work on. I think it's just the limitations because of his size there.
And you might be right. And then also, when you're 6'7", Drew, you would know more than I do, but I would have to imagine
being 6'7",
tape, he has to lower down his pads. He has to get lower into his stance when he's doing some blocking.
And the big thing on that is when you're talking about lowering the pads, keep in mind that when you're going to be a blocker and you're in space, you want to be lower than the guy is so you can kind of push up as you're going into him. When you're 6'7", that takes a lot of effort to be lower than the guy who's 6'3" that you're trying to hit.
Who's also
4 inches doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, 4 inches is quite a lot.
That's what she said.
I gotta say, he shocked me. I did not think that I would have him nearly as high in this rating. I liked his film a lot. Keep in mind, he was basically the backup tight end for Georgia.
Yeah.
But the way they did it, they had like a double tight end set with one in the slot, one in the inline. He's usually the one in the inline. And amazing blocker. And I'm an old school tight end kind of guy. Like, give me a good old blocking tight end that's going to help me out, be a security blanket for the quarterback there, like a Daniel Bellinger, that kind of player. Yeah. And this guy's going to be a better version of Bellinger. I hate to say it that way because I like Bellinger. No disrespect to him. He's going to be good. And I think he's going to shock some people because I think he's being overlooked because of his lack of production at Georgia. But his lack of production was because, quite frankly, the guy he was backing up would be number 1 on the list if he was out in this draft. But he's got one more year in college. So sometimes it's when you play in Georgia, that's this kind of stuff that happens. We're going to go over this again with another guy who's very highly ranked in the defensive line. Georgia rotates. They don't give a damn who you are. They rotate. Yeah. They have too much talent, and they made too many promises to not have multiple people moving in and out of the field there. So, like I said, round 2 for this guy, I think personally. I wouldn't say it's impossible in round 1, but it's highly doubtful.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of needs and niches around the NFL that's not the tight end spot to go for him to go to round 1.
Yeah, exactly. Number 1.
Uno.
At 6'4.5", 249 pounds, hailing out of Notre Dame, Fighting Irish.
The Quasimodo.
Michael Mayer.
Ding, 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 ding.
Kind of like the cheering like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's safe to say that Notre Dame has a pretty good and rich history in college football. I think that's a pretty safe statement to say that I don't think anybody should ever say that I'm wrong on. It's very rare that I think no one will ever disagree with me, but that's one of the times. Most receiving yards by a tight end ever at Notre Dame. That's impressive at Notre Dame. Very good receiver, high energy, great effort, also great at contested catches, which when you're a tight end, that's important. It's very rare you're wide open. Usually you got somebody near you. The downfalls, though, is he's much more of a possession receiver than a deep threat. So if you're looking for the guy that's going to cut right through the defense and go right to the house, this is not that guy. If you're looking for the guy that's going to go ahead and do a quick out route at that point to get you the first down, this is your guy. It's still a skill. It's still an important skill. It's just depending on the offense, it's not the skill that fits your offense. So not a lot of yak. And he shows a lot of promise in blocking, but he does still need some work in that department as well. Again, like I said, most rookie tight ends do. I think a late first round pick is where I see him at. He may even slide into like the mid picks, but you'll definitely be hearing his name on Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably not wrong. Just because.
I rarely am.
Yeah.
I'm also very modest. No one is more modest than I. I'm the most modest in all the land.
Yeah. Yeah, he'll probably go late first round. He might be one last guy's called.
I'm telling you right now, I would not be shocked at all if the Cowboys take him. I don't think he makes it past them because they got to replace
Schultz.
They got to replace Schultz. I mean, they already got Ferguson. They got in the draft last year, but this guy's a better tight end. So I can see them doing that. I mean, we know they wanted more weapons for Dak, so he keeps on hopefully remembering what team he actually plays for. But
the one wearing the white jersey. Which one?
Damn it! This is an away game. But yeah, like I said, late first round, I think, and I think it's a good spot overall for him to go late first round because there's going to be some expectations. He deserves it with the record he had at Notre Dame, but because he's not a top 10 pick, it won't be like Kyle Pitts expectations because most tight ends don't accelerate off the bat. It takes them a little bit of time. So as long as he gets things rolling by the end of the year, I don't think a team's going to be upset with him. So, alrighty. It's on to the big boys. The D-line, D-tackles kind of guy. So he kind of broke it down a little different. So you guys remember we did our Edge preview episode there. So this is one of those spots. Like, do you call them D-tackles? Do you call them D-line? So I'm just using both terms at that point. These are the guys either like nose tackles, straight up defensive tackles, guys that could play in a 3-4 scheme anywhere in the defensive line. Those kind of guys. Those guys. These guys over here.
These guys here.
These guys. All righty. Number 10.
Jacqueline Roy, LSU.
The Tiger.
Meow.
He's got the eye of the tiger.
He does.
Boom,
6'4",
boom,
297 pounds. Don't let that size fool you. He is athletic, physical.
Let's get physical.
Surprisingly, he's a big boy, but he also has a size where he can put more mass on that frame.
So, because he's 6'4", and he's 297, so like I'm not going to give too much away, but the next guy we're going to talk about is 6'5", 318 pounds.
It's a big boy.
So 1 inch, 20 pound difference. So he's definitely got the ability to add more. Yeah. Seriously. Guys get all cholesterol issues and all.
He's great against the run.
Diabetes.
He disappears in passing downs and seems to lack strength from time to time. So I don't know if he gets in his own head and he doesn't know how to use his strength.
I think he lacks it.
Maybe he lacks it. Maybe he's just thinking about the next cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger sounds good, actually. Actually, I had something really good tonight. I found it on TikTok, and I finally got Jackie to make it. So I've been mentioning the last couple of days. It's rice and it's chicken in a pan, and the sauce they made was condensed milk, Parmesan, and a lemon with garlic. And oh my God, I'm telling you, this is right in the repertoire. I'm gonna have to give you the recipe for that one here. Yeah, and anybody else listening that wants the recipe, just put in the comments you want the recipe, and I'll share it with you. But oh my God, was it good? I don't go bragging about food all the time, which don't get me wrong, my wife's an amazing cook. But this is one of those things I was like, oh my God, spectacular. All righty. Anyway, back to Roy here. I mean, this is what you want in a late round pick, I think, in my own mind here, a day 3 kind of guy. You want somebody who has a skill, and a skill that you need, and a skill that has a value because it makes him a fit in your roster. But you don't expect him to be amazing. If he's amazing, he'd be a round 1, round 2 guy. So I'm thinking a round 4 pick for him. I think he'll go somewhere as like a run-stopping defensive tackle that they'll try to develop into a full-time starter. And he's got that potential. He very well could be a starter somewhere eventually. He'll fail, horribly if they do it right off the bat with him. But the long term, he could turn into a starter.
I think so. I think he put some size on. He does it right. He doesn't do too fast where he becomes injury prone. And he could be a legit NFL starter for some time in this league.
Oh, yeah. All righty. Number 9. Jervon Dexter, Florida. 6'5", 318 pounds. Bet you couldn't guess that one.
I was supposed to say, we knew that was coming.
Yeah, we did. We do. Didn't see it coming, though.
Yeah.
There's something about Florida players. There really is. There's been a lot of troublemakers on the Florida Gators in these topics we're having here. It seems like everybody from Florida,
couple years,
except for Anthony Richardson, has been like, he has attitude issues. He has problems. Well, this is a guy that has effort issues. But let's go over it real quick, because if you can fix it and get the right coach that actually motivates him, he does have a lot of skill. Really good size, we talked about a minute ago. Great combine, great physical skills. Doesn't have the production, though, to match those skills that he has. He did flash some pass rush skills. Also, never got injured in college. I don't know if that's the lack of effort or if that's just in his genes. He's just that guy that just keeps the hitting and keeps going. But that's an important skill we don't talk about enough with people that we're drafting, especially from a Giants perspective. The Giants just love, like, oh, did you tear an ACL in college?
Yeah, because the best ability is availability.
Exactly. So he got overpowered a decent amount. Low motor. Like, he's a smart car. Slow first step overall. He is a round 3, round 4 kind of guy, I think. And I think that only because someone is going to hope that they get the right voice in his head to get him to straighten his stuff out now that he's getting paid. Because if he wants to get paid, he's going to have a good first couple of years to get a big contract. And I think he's that guy that will probably motivate him that way, because obviously getting drafted didn't motivate him.
Yeah. You want to see a couple $1 million in your bank account?
Yes.
Yeah. Sign me up. What do I got to do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I got excited. I thought you were going to give me a couple $1 million for a second there.
Yeah, let me go rob the bank. I'll be right back.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So anyway, while he's gone, like I said, 3rd round, 4th round.
Yeah, I see him as a 4th round kind of guy.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. I don't want anything to do with him. I want nothing to do with him. But I could see if you're desperate and you have a bunch of holes and you say, let's give this kid a shot and see if we can get him to get his potential, it'd be a worthy pick. But for a team like us that already has good players at that position, I'm good.
Yeah. On to the next.
Number 8, the Ocho.
Oh, not Ocho Cinco, though.
No, he's not a defensive tackle. He has been retired a few years. He might resemble one now.
Maybe.
No, I'm kidding. He actually lives in my neck of the woods.
I thought, wait, was it Randy Moss or was it him talking about coming out? They were playing in the FX or one of those stadium football leagues.
That was T.O.
Yeah, T.O.
T.O. Of course, T.O. can't give it up. He's like 50 years old, still trying to play football. Still telling people he can actually play. Remember, he talked to the Cowboys last year.
That's right.
Crazy.
Nuts.
If anybody has the physical skill, it's him. It's the mental skills that's the problem.
It's true. Zach Pickens, South Carolina.
Gamecock.
Gamecock. 6'4", 305 pounds. That's a big cock.
That's a big gamecock.
Yeah. Tested well at the Combine.
Combine, not the Columbine. You love the It's not a high school in Colorado.
Yes. Physical. He's got the ability to get off big blocks. Doesn't appear on passing plays, which is an issue a little bit. High end flashes, but inconsistent in a lot of his plays. Trouble with double teams, which
is weird. Like I'm saying, watching the tape was weird on him because he gets off, like if you stick the big old, 350-pound lineman on him, he just gets off him no problem. But you put like 200-300-pound guys on him, and he gets issues with doing that. So it's almost like I think it's more of a technique than a power issue. I really do.
I say it's got to be a technique.
Yeah.
Which with the right coach, you'll learn that because that's going to happen a lot in the NFL.
Yeah. I mean,
and if he doesn't fix it, they're just going to exploit it.
Exactly.
But he's got no pass rush plan really, unless after like his first initial move like fails, and then he's just kind of lost.
He's like, I'm here, so I don't get fined.
Da, 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 da.
Anybody's got a cable guy flashing through their mind right now.
Oh yeah.
So again, this is another guy who's a project guy. What I like about him and why I actually ranked him higher than Dexter there, besides the fact he doesn't remind me of a serial killer on a Showtime show, is I don't mind a guy who needs coaching that's coachable. I mind it when I see low motor, low energy, lack of caring, that kind of stuff. Because you can only coach somebody who wants to be coached.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you lead the horse to the water, but it's got to still drink it itself.
I think Zach, the Zach attack there will be probably a 3-4 kind of pick as far as the rounds go. I think he's going to be someone who's going to develop, and he'll probably be a third defensive tackle kind of guy that you put in your rotation. You bring him in on, run stopping plays specifically, and eventually they try to develop him into a starter. But I think round 3, round 4, probably closer to round 4. I think it's the right spot for him.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
All righty. Number 7. And I gave myself the hard one this time, apparently.
Ooh, you did.
Sieke Ika at a Baylor, 6'4", 358 pounds.
That's
pure nose tackle. Pure nose tackle, this guy. Left LSU for Baylor 2 years ago. So his defensive coordinator at LSU became the head coach of Baylor. And he went with him. I kind of like that. It's loyalty.
Yeah, commitment.
Yeah. And he's a big guy. He is, a guy who got double teamed quite often, and he still succeeded. So I'll take that kind of thing, because you see these guys, a lot of these guys getting double teamed, they had issues. And he got right through a double team like nothing. So
because he's still the size of 2 guys.
That's part of it. But it's also because he's not trying to go after the quarterback. He's trying to go after the gap. That's his whole thing. He's the plug, the anchor, the guy who's trying to just clog the hole, basically, in the A gap, B gap.
Plug it in.
Exactly. That's what he is. He did produce some pass rush pressure in college. I don't think he had enough skill in that position for that to translate to the NFL. I think he'll purely be a run stopper in the NFL. I do think he's going to still need some extra work on some of the finesse of the position, at least there. But I think he'll be a round 3 kind of pick, and I do think that he's somebody who's you're going to see develop, so to speak, into a legit nose tackle, a run stopper, and a guy who frees up the linebacker. I think he's going to be a pretty good player. I think he's going to be better than people expect. If it was a more valued position in the league, I think you would see a lot more hype on him. I think you see a lot more people caring about how he is. But because it's not as hyped, you're not going to really go ahead and see that very often. So I think, like I said, I think a round 3 kind of position is where he's going to be at there. So our next guy, you mind if I double up here, Rob?
Sure.
I'm going to double up here a little bit for you guys here, because this was a special one for me. So here's a kid who comes out in Kobe Turner. Comes out of high school, not a 0-star recruit. 0-star recruit. What does that mean? That means he had the same amount of colleges looking at him as I did this year. 0. It's a round number, less than 1. Not a single FBS option there. He walked on, goes to Richmond, plays with the Richmond Spiders. Okay. He ends up getting 71 tackles, 14.5 for a loss, 7 sacks in his sophomore year, because he just didn't play at all the freshman year. 2020 obviously was the COVID year. 4 games, still had 3.5 sacks. Because of the red shirt here he had, though, he was able to transfer. This is these COVID rules. He transfers over to Wake Forest and crushes it there as well. 6'3", 290 pounds. But he's going to have some issues in the league. And the main thing is, he's a smaller guy, as we mentioned, 290. He's got shorter arms. Even though he's 6'3", his arms are shorter than the average person his height. So this is a thing that, and I don't often talk about an outlier. This is an outlier. This is a guy that doesn't necessarily measure up like your typical defensive tackle does. But what I love about him is he came from nowhere. This is your self-made player. Not that he didn't have coaching on the way, but what I mean is he worked his tail off. And he got to where he got. I love players like that. And like I said, he just absolutely dominated. He's explosive, one-gap defensive tackle. He's going to be someone you're going to see in the 3 technique, and I think he's going to fit somebody as a developmental guy who you're going to see a lot of potential coming out and a lot of skill coming out of him. But the issue he's going to have is the undersizedness. But I don't care about that because the attitude I see in him. He's got fight. He's that guy. And I'm probably higher on him than you hear anybody else talk about him like this. I think he's going to be a steal for somebody that's probably going to go, I think, we talked about 3rd round for the last couple guys. I think he's going to go in the 4th round personally. But I think he's better than the guys who will go in there because of the ceiling. He's got a higher ceiling, and I don't think the floor is that much different than these guys. Worst case scenario, he's a guy you bring in on passing downs to give you a little pass rush in the middle. Best case scenario, he's your starting defensive tackle that moves around the line and gives some of the offensive linemen fits in the middle.
Yeah. Self-made guy, versatile, where he plays, and like you said, he's got some physical attributes that don't measure up. They don't measure up as with your stereotypical, defensive tackles or linemen. But there are some athletes out there that they don't meet those qualifications to whatever they play, and they still excel at their job. And that's what this guy's going to do. And I agree.
The best defensive tackle in the NFL does not fit the mold. Aaron Donald doesn't fit the mold. Everybody said he was too small when they were drafting him, and he was coming out of Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
almost like somebody else will talk about it a little bit.
Oh, snap!
Foreshadowing.
But yeah, I just think some limitations are coming from nowhere. He's going to fall in the draft, even though he's got the talent to be.
He's going to fall because of the school he went to too.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1 year at Wake Forest. You got the rest of it at Richmond. Yeah. Now they get to the college football powerhouse.
Yeah.
All righty. Your turn to double up now as we can catch up. Number 5.
Genu Benton, Wisconsin.
He's a Badger, don't you know?
What a Badger.
What a Badger.
Yeah. 6'3", 280 pounds. He's got good size. He's a high motor kind of athlete. Can't pass rush, but it's a limited game for him. He also has some trouble with double teams, which is something that we've talked about a lot going through this position. And he also needs to work on lowering his pads down.
It's amazing the same like bad things we have in a lot of these guys. It shows you they're young. They still got things to learn.
But these are nothing that you can't coach up.
No, and I think the double team is, again, the weight issue. 6'3", good height. 288, a little light.
Yeah, and I also think it's a bit of a technique thing, too. It's it's the way you're stepping in.
I liked him, though. He's got a fiery attitude when he plays. And he, like I said, he likes going and doing the pass rush moves. He's not the defensive tackle that you expect to be a nose tackle like I think he's going to be. And just basically disappears and just stands there during the pass plays. He runs after the quarterback. He has no problem doing that. He may not get to him. He may not get to him very often, but like one of those players, and like a defensive tackle is the quintessential guy that has this. where a defensive tackle basically is the guy who doesn't show up in the stat sheet because he's moving the quarterback over to the left or the right where the edge rusher gets him. That's what he does. That's what Benton does. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be develop into a very good starter in this league for years to come.
I agree. I see him going probably in the second round, like mid to late second round.
I would say late second round because he's not getting the hype he should for the talent he has. But I agree with you, second round.
Yeah. Cool. Cuatro.
Numero cuatro.
Brian Breezy. From Clemson.
That's why I'm breezy.
Breezy. Easy breezy.
Breezy
Beautiful
can't
Clemson
play on
boy.
Sunday morning.
All right, Brian, 6'5", 300 pounds flat. Number 1 recruit in the country coming out of high school.
Oh yes.
That's a stat for you.
That's a decent stat to have in your bio. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
How many high school football players that are around the country, and you're considered the best in the entire country?
That's something. It's also because he's athletic. He's versatile. He's quick to react during plays. He's also got a pretty kick-ass swim move.
Yeah.
It's my swim move. That's why I'm not in the NFL.
I doggy paddle. I doggy paddle.
Yeah.
I can't help myself. Seriously, I have no coordination in the pool whatsoever, and I love the water. Like I will sit there at the beach all the time. I love hot tubs. I love pools. Obviously, I don't swim in the hot tub. You know what I mean? But I mean, I'm the worst swimmer ever. I mean, even when I was a kid, I failed swim school, and I had to go back a second time. Yeah,
I swim like a fish at like 3.
I'm horrible. I still am. Luckily, I'm tall enough that I can.
I was supposed to say
stand
at
in
least you can stand in most pools.
Most pools. So,
yeah, Breezy. Clemson could have misused him. We've talked about that a lot.
Yeah, I you know what? And I'll say I didn't see that personally. I saw a lot of people suggesting it though otherwise. So I'll take some people's word at that because it's people I trust that know what they're talking about. But
yeah, but
are you about to get attacked by a ghost?
Year? What?
Are you about to be attacked by a ghost? I hear.
I am about to be attacked by a ghost.
Be gone with you, spirits! Be gone!
The power of Christ compels you.
It's the spirit of Y.A. Tittle.
I
may have just wanted to say Tittle.
I think that's exactly what I say, Tittle. But Breezy had an awesome freshman year, tore that ACL, and then his production in college has just not come back to where it was.
Yeah, and that takes some time when you have a whole bunch of injuries.
Well, that's it. Yeah, an ACL is like one of those things. Like some guys don't come back right away off that injury. It takes a couple years for him to get back to where he was. And when you're the number 1 recruit coming out of high school, you definitely have the talent.
Yep. The question is, has the injuries killed that talent?
Well, that's it. So he's going to be the early round boom or bust kind of guy.
Oh, huge. And someone's going to take the chance because the chance is worth it. Let's be honest. You get a dominant defensive lineman. That's something worth taking a chance on.
The only thing you got to question on the teams is like, are you going to take this guy in the first round or second round? How are you going to let him drop?
Honestly, I think you're going to see him in the second round, but I think that there are teams that will have the discussion of him in the first round.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yep. Alrighty. Number 3, Mozzie Smith, Michigan. Another Wolverine. The claws and the adamantium and all. 6'3", 323 pounds. He is built like a Wolverine. Good size, athletic, moves all along the line of scrimmage. So he's not the A gap, B gap kind of guy. He's the guy that you put him where you need him for that particular play, and he'll take that spot and give you no issue whatsoever. He's great against the run. He does need to get a little more consistency with his technique. He's also slow to see the play. So if he's in the A gap and it all of a sudden comes to the B gap, he's not going to notice it right now, at least the way he's playing now, until it's too late.
Yeah. That's something that you might be able to start coaching up.
It is. And at the same point, if you have good guys around him, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because as long as he can handle his position, he's fine. You know? He does also need to gain some more pass rushing moves because as of right now, he's almost, his pass rush is basically almost non-existent, but he's got this, again, he got the size, he has the athleticism. He's a guy I think that could develop that over time, but that's going to be a couple years process. So if you're looking for somebody immediately to have that, that's not this guy. But if you're looking at somebody to just clog the hole, free up your linebacker, help in the run game, that's exactly what this guy is. I've heard a lot of rumors about him in Dallas too. So we talked about Dallas earlier as far as getting a tight end. I've heard a lot of Dallas rumors with Mozzie specifically because they do need a defensive tackle as well and a run stopper in the middle. So we might be seeing him, Giants fans. I think round 2 is where he'll end up going, and it's a pretty safe bet that that's the round he's going to go on, I think. Maybe slide in the late first, but I really think he's better second round.
Yeah, it's going to be an early mid-second second round pick.
Number 2.
Who does number 2 work for?
Who does number 2 work for?
Kali J. Cansey.
You want to take another shot at that one?
Kali J.
Kalijah.
See, I've heard it pronounced a few different ways. So I'm going to just say Cansey.
The Pittsburgh defensive tackle.
Yes. Moving on, 6'1", 281 pounds. He's really good at playing the backfields. Flexible, high motor. Guys all over the football field. He's a ball hawk is what he is. He always doesn't get credit for all his efforts. I was watching a game. Who are they playing? I can't remember who they're playing. But the thing is, with the size, he does have troubles with some of the big blockers back there. Whoever does take this guy, because he's super talented, we're going to have to either beef him up or we're going to have to start scheming around to his size.
I mean, I think the big comparison is this the guy I was talking about earlier and alluding to when we talked about Aaron Donald. Same school as Aaron Donald, similar, size issues. I did say similar because Donald didn't have all the issues that this guy has. But it's kind of made people overlook those issues with him. I personally think that he'll end up more as like a D end on a 3-4 kind of defense that'll move inside during the passing downs. I think that's where he's going to be better suited at because of the fact that he just doesn't have the weight to be a nose tackle. I think he'll have issues as a defensive tackle overall in the league because of that as well. But if you need a guy, worst case scenario, that can just pop out on passing downs, well, let's be honest. A lot of downs are passing downs. We don't run the ball as much in the NFL. This is a good guy to have handy. This is a good guy. But I'm going to be very clear. He's not Aaron Donald. He will not be Aaron Donald. That's just not – he's not going to be the best player to ever play the position, which is basically what Aaron Donald is. It's not a disrespect to him. It's just –
I was going to say, you can't get mad at that.
It's a disrespect to Aaron Donald to suggest otherwise is all I'm saying because I keep hearing that. All righty. Number 1, and I don't think this will be – oh, yeah, I almost forgot to say first round, second round.
I think because of his size, he's going to fall to early second round. Depending on the niches out there, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes day 1.
Neither one would shock me. So, number 1, which is definitely not going to be a shock to anybody, I think.
No. You're number 1, aren't you, buddy?
I know. I was being suspenseful like that. Suspenseful. Now, what's really bad is the people that are watching us live got that suspense. The people that are watching and are listening on podcast land will not get that suspense because the program I use automatically takes out anything that's more than 3/4 of a second pause.
Oh, snap.
Oh, yes. So, guys watching live, yeah, get a little sun extra there. So, Jalen Carter, Georgia, 6'3", 310 pounds. Obviously, we'd be remiss not to mention the recent off-field issues he had. I don't want to get too much into that's all legal stuff that's still pending. Not all the information's out yet, obviously, but it looks like some poor decisions may have been made. I'll leave it at that. We had obviously the issue with his pro day as well. On top of that,
at least he doesn't put mayo in his coffee.
He does not put mayo in his coffee, to the best of my knowledge. I can't say for sure, but to the best of my knowledge, he does not. He's got a good get off though. This is the guy with that first move. You know, you hear about that quite often on the offensive line. Does he have a good get off? This is saying, is he the guy that when the ball snaps just goes for it, or is he the guy that almost looks delayed? This is the guy who goes for it immediately. He plays all over the line. He's strong. He's athletic as hell for his size. He's also raw, which you can say is a pro or a con. 'Cause he only started 1 year in the for the Georgia Bulldogs there, but at the same point, that was a hell of a year. His stat lines didn't always explode though, but he was all over the place. Whenever there was a play, he was right next to it. The only really big issue I have with him is when you look at it, there were stretches that he would play a little bit more than he had played other games, especially obviously in closer games. Not that Georgia had many of those.
Yeah.
He looked fatigued if he was left in too long. So it calls into question his conditioning. We talked already about the issues with him as far as off the field issues, not being ready for the pro day. So all that adds up as a possible guy that needs to be coached up into better conditioning. So he's definitely not perfect, but he's going to be drafted like he is because this is a weak draft.
Yeah.
You know, he also won't even go to visit anybody outside the top 10. So I kind of hope he drops just because I hate that kind of cockiness, but he's not going to drop out of the top 10, guys. He's not going to. Someone's going to take him early on. If he drops even out of the top 5, it's only because there's a run on quarterbacks.
Well, aren't they talking about the Bears going after this guy?
The Bears. I've heard the Bears. I've heard the Bears also getting a tackle as well. So offensive tackle, I should say. So I mean, there's a lot of possibilities for the Bears because they're picking 9. It's just a matter of what's the better strength for them left. But I don't think he makes it past them if he makes it a 9. Maybe he can. I see Ken in the notes here. He just said, "Thank God Rodgers to the Jets." Maybe he can let us know if the Bears are being rumored to him. I know he's a big old Bear fan. Big old Bear.
Bears.
That big old Bear fan there. Not Bears. So,
yeah.
But he'll be a top 10 pick, no doubt about it. He's going to be a good player in this league as well. I think his motivation, his decision making, his his workout routine and work ethic is what's going to determine how good he gets. But I want to caution people when I say he's one of the better players in this draft that's not a QB. I still don't think he's going to be a stud. I think he'll be a above average player that'll make it to a couple Pro Bowls in his career potentially. I don't think he's going to be Hall of Fame caliber. So it's a weak draft. I don't want to overplay some of these bigger guys. It's a weak draft. So
yeah.
Talk about ending the top 10 on a down note.
Wah, wah.
A Debbie Downer over here.
Right.
But I have good news for you guys, though.
You saved a lot of money in your car insurance.
I also lowered my cholesterol by switching to Cheerios. The good news is, besides the fact that I'm not going to spend like crazy this summer, thanks to Manscaped, is we're done with the positions.
Guys.
Oh, yes. So tomorrow night, guys, we're going to have for you our final Giants mock draft going through all 7 rounds. And we're going to have, of course, you guys giving your input as well. That's tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I know we do not usually do a Tuesday show, but because of the draft week, we're going to be on the rest of the week. Yesterday was our only day off. Thank God I got to spend it at Disney. # Florida life. It's the beach or Disney. I get to decide. It's spectacular. Half an hour that way or 1 hour that way. But yeah, guys. So like I said, we'll get that going. I want you guys all commenting like crazy during that episode tomorrow because you guys, same as last time. If Rob and I disagree, you're the tiebreaker.
Break it up.
Break the tie. And then we're gonna go ahead and have the the full first round mock on our Wednesday episode. Because I know a lot of people that watch the draft. There's some guys like us, like I know Rob and I are the same way. Like we'll watch the whole freaking thing because we're just idiots. Like, who's this player? This got drafted out of the Academian College of Appalachian Mountain West College University Polytech.
Google?
Yeah. Let's be honest. Half those guys that go in the 7th round, you don't know much on. You don't. So
much.
But we still watch it because we're goofballs. So, but like I said, we're going to go live for you guys the first 2 nights. We're going to go ahead and be live the entire Thursday draft, literally every single pick, and every single pick on Friday as well. We will go ahead and go live on Saturday as well. Depends on how the draft's going as far as what time we start and how long into it. Because I want to go over all of the guys we end up picking on day 3, and we have, as of right now, I mean, I'll see how it we'll see how things finish out, because I think we'll be trading our numbers of picks down a little bit here. We have 3 7th-round picks, 3. So yeah, we're going to be having to spend a little time preparing at the very end for you guys there, because chances are at least one of those players will be somebody that Rob and I did not research. We cannot research every single player. I wish we could, guys. I wish we could, but that would mean that we don't have a job outside of this place. It should be great. Imagine this for a living. So again, guys, we'll be doing that for you. As always, guys, again, if you want to sponsor the show, if you enjoy what you guys were listening to here today, the website to go ahead and give an option here to donate, and well, actually donate. It's not tax deductible or anything. We're not a charity, but if you want to give us some money for the work, it's buymeacupofcoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Again, buymeacupofcoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. And of course, again, thank you for our sponsor, Manscaped, and the mighty all-powerful Lawnmower 4.0. Oh, yes. This thing is like a hedge clipper here, but hedge clipper for your nether regions.
After a nice long winter in New Jersey, you should see the strawberry that came off.
I'm sure it is. Sure it is. Or, keep in mind, it's also springtime. Springtime is that spring fling time, guys. So if anybody's watching that, perhaps, maybe a new relationship or a new hookup or whatever the case may be, and you want to go ahead and maybe, get a little trim. Listen, they like it. They like it. They do. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
They don't want the hair either. So go for it. Again, manscaped.com. Use the promo code Goofballs, and you get 20% off plus free shipping there. So great deal. Let's see here. We got a couple.
Thank you.
Oh, your balls will thank you. That's right. They will literally sing to you and thank you
in the shower.
Yes, in the shower only. Yeah. Otherwise, it'd be inappropriate. We got a couple comments here before we get out of here. Connor with draft finally almost here. It just makes me mad. You wait all this time for it to finally be here for that first pick. Hope it pays off. Then the long wait after the draft to regular season. Ugh. Listen, it's not gonna be that long a wait, man. We got you covered. I'm telling you right now, we have so many things here to go ahead and go over with you. Trust me, we have everything planned out. So there will be no shortage of content. So anybody who's new, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I'm telling you, you're going to see other different podcasts and other content creators will go ahead and do 1 or 2 episodes a week during the slow times. We keep going. We ain't going to stop
all year round.
And we're not going to BS and just make up rumors to get you guys a show. We're going to keep on going with legit, fun, entertaining things. We have all kinds of stuff planned. We've already been talking about there. Let's see here. We also got Lamar Adams. What's up, Lamar?
You, bud.
Gives a little information on Joe Tipman, who's a center out of Wisconsin, the Badger there. Yeah, I mean, that's a player that we're going to be targeting, I think, in round 2. Be a good spot for him if he's available. Second best center in this draft. We talked about him on our episode. We went over the interior offensive line. So if you haven't already checked that one out, we gave you guys a lot of good info there and all. He's also got a couple of mocks he's given us as well. So yeah, we'll definitely look over that there. And he also gives a little information on Jarrett Clark out of Coastal Carolina. One of the guys didn't make our top 10. Always good to have a little more information on some of the latter round guys as well. Appreciate it, Lamar. So again, guys, we'll be back on for you tomorrow. We'll be back on for you Wednesday. We'll be back on for you Thursday. We'll be back on for you Friday. We'll be back on for you Saturday. Sunday's a day of rest. And then back to our regularly scheduled programming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as usual. Again, guys, we'll, like I said, when the draft starts. Thursday will be on when the draft starts. Friday will be on when the draft starts. Saturday will be on whenever the draft is over. We get a chance to go ahead and get you guys all the information on everybody we drafted that day. So again, guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that follow, ring the bell if you're on YouTube. That's probably the best way. The funny thing is, before we go live, as we're doing the startup and everything, I get the notification on my desktop that I use to shoot this, and my phone and my tablet, that Two Giant Goofballs is going live. Love it. So yeah, always good to get that there, because then you know we're actually starting, in case we do something a little different, a little off the wall there, which is typical for us. As Lamar says, North Carolina in the house. We gotta. Please tell me you're a PD Pablo fan, Lamar. Not asking you to take your shirt off and spin around like a helicopter. I'm just saying, North Carolina, money raiser. I don't know why. It's been that many years. I still, whenever I hear, whenever I hear still about anything as far as North Carolina, I go right to PD Pablo still. It's my age, I think. It's just that generation. Probably it's that, yeah. Probably got somebody probably is watching this like 20 years old going, who's PD Pablo? Yeah, PD Pablo, one hit wonder. At least the only hit I know of his was that one. All right, guys. So again, we'll be back here tomorrow night for you guys doing the full mock draft. Get prepared to be the tiebreaker. It's an important job because let's be honest, if you watched the last one, Rob and I disagreed on half the picks, and it was up to you guys to be the tiebreakers. So I have a feeling we're going to have that problem again. It's a fun problem to have. It gives you guys a little more chance to be involved in the shows. We love it. Again, if you're listening and not watching, and you want to watch, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, my LinkedIn, we're available on all of those there. Also, Lamar has confirmed he is a PD Pablo fan. He said, yes, Tupac and Biggie fan as well. Yes, there we go. See, North Carolina, I told you. Again, guys, we're also available on every audio platform. There is pretty much no demand. So, Apple, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, all the big ones there. Appreciate you guys taking the time to listen in. We know there's plenty of options to get your Giants news, your NFL news, your draft coverage news there. So we really do appreciate you guys coming on here and listening to these two goofballs and what we have to say as far as that. Hope you guys find it interesting and hope you guys find it helpful as this draft weekend starts coming here. It's draft time.
It's that time of year.
It's like Christmas. I don't know why. I love the draft, dude. I love the draft. It's a lot of fun, and it's funny because you know that like 90% of the players we need to research on and watch tape on will not be playing for the Giants in their entire career, and yet we still do it. We still do it, and we're not even college football guys. We'll be honest with you guys in that we don't watch until it's time for draft, and then we'll start watching hours and hours and hours of tape.
Easier if just watch it every Sunday, every Saturday, but
it would be. But the problem is there's so many teams, so many players,
so many.
All righty, guys. Again, appreciate you guys listening again. We'll be back on again, like I said, tomorrow night there. So we'll give you guys some more updates as things go on. But the nice thing is tomorrow and the next couple of days, because we're shooting every single night, shouldn't be that much NFL news, shouldn't be that much news overall. We get right into it, nice and simple for you guys. So again, appreciate you guys listening in. And as always, Giant fans,
go G-Man!
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 Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right?